Hey everybody, welcome to the Army Flex Showcase. We have Kevin here today, a good friend of ours. He's one of the best painters we know. This is his Deathwatch army, and it's absolutely amazing. Everything's custom, scratch. Well, a lot of things were scratch built, custom built.
Yeah, a lot of it is. What I did was like, there's some bits and pieces that I kind of mix and match together, but for the most part, everything is.
How many points is this right now?
You're looking at maybe about 3,000 if you with war gear options and all that kind of stuff. But given that Deathwatch tend to be on the expensive side, very easily 3,000, but especially with this size.
Oh, I could tell for sure. What made you want to do Deathwatch?
The Deathwatch are just unique. If you know anything about the lore of 40K, a lot of the chapters tend to be like unique, but in like large armies unique. So like Imperial Fists are all the Siege Masters, Defensive Masters are all painted yellow. Blood Angels are all painted red, and they're like weird bloodthirsty space vampires. The Deathwatch kind of takes a little bit of everything. They're a unique chapter in and of themselves, but because of the lore, how the Inquisition takes a tithe from every chapter to bring veteran Space Marines in to be part of the Ordo Xenos, you get a very good mix of different cultures, design aesthetics, and just behaviors and personality.
Right. Are there any chapters in here that people might not be too familiar with that are kind of different?
I try to do as many as possible. Like I try not to do a lot of the same ones over and over again. The one chapter that is in here that I think not a whole lot of people are really going to know unless you're really big in 40K is Carcharodon's Astra, the Space Sharks. I've got a Terminator captain, I've got a chaplain Terminator, and then I've got this sergeant who's the Vanguard vet, who are all Carcharodon Astra. And I tried to make them unique to that chapter.
Now I know you did a conversion of the Watchmaster.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
So that's the original model of a Watchmaster.
Right.
I made it look like a Space Wolf using the Space Wolf back.
Yeah.
I actually have a custom-made Watchmaster there with mechanical legs. I actually use the Custodes Guardian Spear to make the same Guardian Spear.
And this is the guy you call Lieutenant Dan?
No. Lieutenant Dan is an Iron Hands dude.
Okay.
He's got a set of mechanical legs because Lieutenant Dan ain't got no legs.
If you've watched Forrest Gump, Lieutenant Dan's the sergeant. Is he a sergeant?
I think it was his sergeant, and yeah.
Yeah, and he basically had his legs blown off in the Vietnam War, so he calls that Marine Lieutenant Dan, which is fitting. One guy I really want to talk about as well is the meme dude, this guy right here. Please talk about him.
Yeah, I don't take everything I do seriously. So I'll do a lot of jokes or just silly stuff. And so this Dreadnought, his name is Brother Wimbledon, because even in death, he still serves.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you see he's got a tennis ball. I got a tennis ball and tennis racket keychain off of Amazon. And I think I spent way too much money on that particular keychain than I realistically should have, because I just found it on Amazon. It was like $20. I'm like, I don't care. I'm getting it.
$20 tennis ball.
Yeah. But
that is really cool.
But yeah, I have another silly reference here. Like I already mentioned Lieutenant Dan, but then you got like Meatloaf over here. Yeah. If you guys know Bad Out of Hell, he looks like he's flying off the ledge.
He's basically flying off a cliff. You got Meatloaf over here. Another theme. Very cool.
Even in death, he still serves.
And I recall, I think we split a box of Deathwing Terminators, right? Because you wanted to do some conversions with the Deathwing.
Right. That just goes back to how I tried to mix and match things and not make everything look the same.
And what's the newest addition to the army?
This Dark Angels captain, I guess. I actually built that one recently, mainly because it was kind of on a whim that I wanted to make a character that represented a tabletop character that I had created for the Deathwatch tabletop game.
Okay.
And so this is a character specifically converted to look like him. So
Right.
in the game, I was a Dark Angel's lieutenant sent to the Deathwatch to investigate some stuff about the Fallen. Eventually, I turned into Captain, got a sword, and little Watcher, and so this guy looks what I had imagined him to be like.
And that's the guy you had like some custom artwork done for as well,
Yeah,
right?
an old friend of mine actually drew my character,
That's awesome.
and looks very similar. Obviously, the model isn't exactly the same, but close as I could get. I'm probably, as far as our group is concerned, I think I know most of the lore.
Yeah.
Because I'll correct you guys on little things and stuff like that, but. This with Deathwatch, I think I already explained that the lore is that the Inquisition created a section of the Ordo Xenos specifically to deal with aliens, and they take veteran Space Marines from pretty much any chapter to be part of the Ordo Xenos and the Deathwatch. Now, what's interesting about the lore is that most of the time they're sending veterans and it's like a great honor, oh yeah, this guy is great. We're going to send him to do God's work or something like that. But the reality is that it's not always the case. There are cases in which it's okay, this one guy really annoys us.
Yeah.
Let's just send him off to the Deathwatch. And then there's also cases if you know what a black shield is. I have black shields in the army, but they're guys who have been disgraced somehow, and
Right.
so they scrape off the heraldry
Yeah.
off their shoulder and join the Deathwatch as a way of redeeming themselves.
Right.
So interesting stuff like that.
And this is Phil wouldn't be able to paint this in 3 lifetimes, and you've done this. You paint really quickly. Kevin paints armies unbelievable pace, and they're well done. They're not just base coat, couple of layers, and they're on the table. You do a really good job, and you paint a lot.
Yeah, it's like I said, I nitpick over things like edge highlights and that kind of thing. So a lot of very clean, stark lines that I try to do on a lot of characters. A lot of glazing that I try to do on red cloaks and that kind of thing.
Right.
But, I'm pretty sure one of these models is more painting than Phil's ever done in his entire life. So
We have an ongoing. Well, it's not a joke. It's Phil likes to play. Phil's into the playing of the game. And what else, Phil? You like the lore?
I love the lore and playing the game.
Yeah. So Phil, like we were talking before, people like different parts of the hobby. Phil, we tease him all the time because he doesn't paint. But I challenge you, Phil. I challenge you this year to paint 1,000 points.
What do I get for that challenge?
You get the satisfaction of knowing that you finished something. You started and finished it. And then you have great models to show off to everybody.
how about we tar and feather him? If he doesn't.
So Phil has a lot of armies, but yeah, you don't paint them. You get them commissioned. Kevin's commissioned some of your stuff. I've commissioned some of your stuff.
Got a couple big commissions coming in.
Yeah, we have some surprises coming in from Phil that are going to be amazing, actually. Some really big models.
I just finished some stuff for the studio, so.
That's right. It is Army Flex, so you got to flex a little bit on everybody. But this army did actually win Best Painted, right? At Romel's?
It was Armies on Parade.
Armies on Parade.
I made a diorama of basically Kill Team Cassius fighting a whole bunch of Gene Stealer cultists
Right,
inside
that's
a
right.
church to the Emperor, and I won that. And it wasn't just a matter of lining them up. I even had the Gene Stealers pose in such a way, one looked like he got shot,
Yeah.
he's being blown away, another guy got torched, and they got both the jetpackers coming over the statue to ambush people.
Would you recommend this to new people coming into the hobby? Would you tell them to get into Deathwatch?
For a brand new player, maybe not, but for anyone who's been playing 40K or is just interested, Deathwatch is a great choice. Not for a bunch of different reasons. A good reason is because the army list itself is very flexible.
Right.
The Deathwatch are tailored to basically deal with almost any situation. They're not weak in one way or another. They're not super strong in another one way or another. They're a really good army if you want to be creative, because
Oh, for sure.
unlike normal Space Marine chapters where it's basically just the color and the heraldry,
Yep.
this you can just do whatever you want.
Pretty much.
No one's going to get on you for saying oh, this chaplain is from some obscure chapter because lore-wise it makes sense.
It also gives you a chance to paint some of these things that you'd never get a chance to paint, right? Like
Yeah, and-
space sharks.
Yeah, and you don't even need to buy specialized kits. They've got a Deathwatch kill team kit that's 10 Space Marine models. the Deathwatch specific ones.
Yeah.
But you don't even have to do that. Like I've got a huge mix of stuff. Like I've got regular Primaris, I've got stuff from the Deathwing box, I've got regular Vanguard, and you could literally use the entire Space Marine line, and there's never a restriction on how you can do things.
You guys, check out the Army. Tell us what you guys like. What's your favorite model here? Would you guys do Deathwatch? I love this. I have Deathwatch myself. I haven't painted as many as you have, but they are definitely fun to paint. And if you haven't checked these models out, you can even go. Do you have an Instagram page that people can check out your models even closer?
Generally no, but I do have a Twitter that I use to post a whole bunch of stuff too. So you might see a bunch of things that I've painted in the past on that. I'll admit I'm not big on social media, but
he's humble. That's what it is. He's humble with his craft. But thanks for joining us, Kevin. As always, it's a pleasure seeing your Army. Hopefully we can have you on the show again sometime.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for watching this Army Flex showcase. These are the Deathwatch. We'll see you next time. Remember to like and subscribe if you like this content, and we'll bring you guys more. Till next time. Hopefully we can have you on the show again, because you have a lot of cool things. I can't even talk about all the cool things he has, like the orc stuff that you have with he actually has wired speakers into some of his orc wagons, and they play music.
It's a Mad Max army.
Yes, Mad Max orcs.